Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell. Are you sure that's your name?
pretty sure. This week on the first run, well, we always talk about how we're going to do our streaming picks of the week. Well, this week we actually did. So we checked out Zombeavers, available now on Netflix, or you can go down to the Best Buy and pick it up. I'll also tell you my thoughts on Tomorrowland, the latest film from Brad Bird, starring the effervescent George Clooney. And then we're going to talk about the Blu-ray and DVD picks this upcoming Tuesday, June 9th. Maybe have some news for you. And then it's going to be our 5 favorite future cinematic future things. Maybe hellscapes, maybe apocalyptic stuff. Maybe just a nice place to be. I don't know. So we're going to talk about all of that. But first, Matt, let's spend a couple of minutes and talk about what could possibly be a new American classic. Zombeavers.
Okay, let's.
Here we are. Home sweet home. Woo! Make it rain, bitches.
What is that? Looks like a beaver dam. Let's go take a look.
You girls from out of town?
We're staying over there in my cousin's place. We were looking for beavers.
Well, hell, ain't we all?
Well, I've had enough excitement for one day.
What was that? Someone in there?
There's a beaver in the bathroom. Kill it! Yuck. Can we please go swimming now? Ever occurred to any of you that there might be more beavers?
Matt, Zombeavers. All right, so it's a story you've heard 1,000 times. Brad Burr is driving a truck, or is it Bill Burr?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Sorry about that, Bill. He's driving a truck, and he's texting away, and he ends up hitting a deer, and he's carrying toxic waste. Toxic waste goes flying off the truck into the river. And as the opening credit scene runs, very much kind of reminiscent of, and I'm blanking on it, the guy did all the James Bond ones in the beginning for the first 15 films. But very reminiscent of his stuff. We track the toxic waste drum as it gets down the river and then washes up against a dam. And unfortunately, our beavers they consume it, they get it on them. I don't know what the hell happens, but something horrible happens to everybody's favorite things. Are they what are they? They're mammals, beavers, right? But are they anything
mammals.
particular?
They're everybody's favorite double entendre, living double entendre.
Yeah, I think too that from what I understand, they're actually pretty ruthless little creatures, right? They're not friendly at all. Beavers.
Yeah, I don't know. They're definitely not your sea otters, that's for sure.
No, and Zombeavers,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, are a whole other problem. So, of course, we have a bunch of girls who are going away to get away from a boyfriend problem. And, of course, the boys show up. And as they're trying to hang out and have dirty sex and drink, then the Zombeavers get very upset and they start to attack our heroines and heroes. And then chaos, and as the fox says in Antichrist, chaos reigns. So, Matt, Zombeavers. You got to walk a fine line with stuff like this, right? Because you can go, if you're trying to be too funny and you try and be satirical and stuff, and you try too hard, then you get like an Asylum Sci-Fi Channel level piece of crap. But sometimes it's a sweet spot, a la Wolf Cop, when you get everything just right and everything kind of comes together. So you tell me, is this an Asylum level, you know what, don't even bother seeing this, or is this the perfect double feature for Wolf Cop?
Oh, neither. I think it's somewhere in between those two things. This sir is no Wolf Cop. Let's just get that right out of the way. But it's also not, I don't know, Sharknado. What's the one that you like so much with the famous line? Maybe I'm gonna take you home and, well, which one is that?
Yeah, my favorite line in cinema history outside of "I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass" is, I can't even say it. It's so dirty, but it's from Shark Attack 3: Megalodon.
Okay, yes.
It's so dirty I can't even play a clip of it on the show. But if you haven't seen Shark Attack 3: Megalodon, check it out. And I think you can YouTube that clip. Just YouTube that film and type in clip, and bet you within the first 5 entries it'll be that clip. It's so just subtle and brilliantly delivered. It'll stay with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, no, I don't know if it's not that bad. It's not Shark Attack 3 bad.
It's not sure, and that's the thing. It's not that bad, but you know, Shark Attack 3, or even the one where Megalodon versus Giant Octopus or whatever, where he jumps out, where the shark jumps and grabs a 747 out of midair. Those
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, those are pretty funny too. This one I think tried to be a little too tongue in cheek, and it didn't really work for me.
I don't know. I think I'm inclined to disagree with you. I actually really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I watched it late and I was a little punchy. But I really, there were some very funny moments in this film. A lot of times when it played on the horror film tropes, and in kind of my expectation, it never really failed to meet any of my expectations. Like, I was concerned, how are they going to handle the zombie beavers? Because when you get bitten by a zombie, you become a zombie. So do you become a zombie beaver if you get bitten by a zombie beaver? Mm-hmm. Luckily, that question is answered. And it's I'll tell you, it's not even remotely scary. So don't go into it looking for that. This is much more, I think, of a satire and a spoof of horror films than it is a horror film itself. I think some of the performances in it are, I don't even want to say marginally okay. I'm assuming they just went down to the latest YMCA and found all the girls that were having eating disorders and signed them up to be in the film. Not that I shouldn't make fun of that, because it's a serious problem. But it's I don't know. There's just some brilliance in this film. I love the fact that the Zombeavers were smart enough to cut the phone lines. I thought that was a brilliant move. I like the fact I like more of the peripheral characters in the film than I do everybody else.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the actresses, the principals, like especially the quote unquote, I guess, protagonist, who turns out not to really be towards the end there, but
which I think is a nice move on the director's part.
Yeah, I thought it had some clever ideas, but I mean, God, they were bad. They were bad. And the only ones that I really liked were, I thought, the kind of sandwich scenes with Bill Burr and whoever, John Mayer. I don't know if it's John Mayer, but those scenes in the beginning and the end were hilarious. I thought those were actually pretty funny. And I also kind of had an odd liking for the manic energy of Buck, the hornball boyfriend of the more promiscuous of the three girls.
Yes,
he was pretty funny. And then of course our boy from It Follows, he showed up somewhere in the middle there too. But yeah, I mean, they just, for the most part, the cast is just not very good. And I think that really detracts a lot from it, because even when they're called to deliver something funny, their comedic timing is really off.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the script for itself, for what it is, I think it's pretty good. I think it's except not. I was going to say artfully directed. I think it's competently directed.
Yeah, let's put it back here, Bear Chief.
So yeah, but I think the like you said, the main players, I think they could have beefed it up because they're smart to play it straight, but with a little tongue in cheek. So I think that's where the film works. I agree with you. I think probably my favorite character is Buck, Peter Gilroy, especially when he's having relations with his girlfriend and telling him how he's not worthy to be with her, which I thought was very clever. And if you stay through in the credits, they go through kind of a bunch of, I guess, the ad-lib versions of that scene, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I will agree too. I don't know if it's not as smart or as clever as Wolf Cop was. No. We really like that one. So and
the production values are nowhere near as high, which
that's true.
Would say a lot.
That's very, very true. So, but you know what? It's like 77 minutes long, I think.
Yeah.
It's not long at all. And if you kind of like those corny horror film type things, and I think it's worth checking out, especially if it's on Netflix streaming. I mean, what the hell? If you like that kind of thing, I think there's enough laughs in here for you to enjoy for the roughly hour and 10 minutes that the thing's on for. So yeah. I'd recommend it, I guess. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess if you put all those quantifiers into it and qualifiers, I would recommend it as well.
It means this, and that. And you're drunk and high.
And you got exactly 77 minutes of spare time.
You're waiting for the limo to come pick you up to bring you to the airport. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's got its good points. I mean, to your point, I mean, if you've got Netflix, why not? If you got nothing, if you like this kind of thing, and you've already seen Wolf Cop and you can't watch Night of the Creeps one more time, go ahead and check it out. I mean, it's got its moments.
Yeah, I'd say especially our friends over at Wolf Cop. Now that we were our review of them was quoted on their Facebook page, which I was very excited about. So if that's still on Netflix, I'll be honest with you, watch that instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zombeavers. I don't know. If you had a chance to see Zombeavers, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, I want to talk then briefly about Tomorrowland.
Let's.
Tomorrowland.
What if there was a place? A secret place where nothing was impossible.
No way.
A miraculous place where you could actually change the world.
I like Brad Bird. Brad Bird films were quickly becoming event films for me. All right, WALL-E is my favorite Pixar film. On this show, we feel he's reset the bar up now until Mad Max Fury Road, but he reset the bar for action films with his Mission Impossible 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really looking forward to this. It's got Clooney, who I'm a huge fan of. It seems to be almost like a return to the kind of classic Disney film. So I was looking forward to it. And I got to tell you, ultimately, Matt, this film is disappointing.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it's for me, it's just too rote. There's not enough here really to grab onto. There's moments of fun. There's moments even of inspiration. Some of the effects are fantastic. Some of the character designs, the set designs, everything they come up with, I think, is really interesting. The problem is the story itself isn't. You have all these great parts, everything moving together, but unfortunately, the whole is basically kind of a dull movie. And that's really the cardinal sin of all of this stuff. You can't have all this great stuff in it and then give me a boring film. And ultimately, that was the problem. It just was not. The story never grabs a hold of you. You never really care, and it's too bad because it's got you got George Clooney, Hugh Laurie, a great performance by the star from the film, newcomer Raffi Cassidy, and it's. I'm sorry, she's not. Is she Athena? Is she the robot? I can't remember. I'm mixing up my stuff now. Yeah. I'm sorry. Raffi Cassidy's the robot Athena. I'm talking about Britt Robertson. Though Cassidy's good, strong as well. But it's not performing well at all, and unfortunately, I think it's well deserved. I was ultimately disappointed with this film. It kills me too because this was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and it is what it is. I don't know.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, maybe if it's hits Netflix at some point, you can check it out. But there's really no reason to run out and go see this. So I saw it in the IMAX as well, and it's just like I said, great visuals. But and it's a little preachy too about that we kind of end up destroying the world, and it's I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me. I don't know. I'm sorry to say.
That's too bad.
So for Tomorrowland, if you've seen that, maybe I'm wrong. Shoot me an email. feedback@thefirstrunning.com. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts about Tomorrowland. Matt, Blu-ray and DVD picks. This is coming up on June 9th, this upcoming Tuesday. We got Kingsman: The Secret Service. A fun film. I don't know if I ever want to see it again, but it's an entertaining enough little action film. It's got a lot of great little moments, a lot of nice touches, a lot of cool homages to the Bond franchise, I think, as well. So, are you interested in seeing Kingsman at all?
Yeah, I wanted to see it, but it sounds like it's a rent, not buy.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. If you get it from Walmart, they give you a free Vudu, which is their streaming service, copy of the movie Chronicle. for some reason. Okay. And it comes with a Blu-ray digital copy, ultraviolet. Best Buy has a special feature that they refused to tell me. I couldn't find out what it was, but there's something special if you buy it from them. It includes an audio commentary and some behind-the-scenes featurettes. A great little documentary I want to see called Red Army is being released. Are you familiar with Red Army?
No.
It's the story of the U.S. beating the Russians in the Olympics back in the day, but it's from the Russian side.
Okay.
So it's everything that happened on their team through the whole event and to them eventually losing. It's supposed to be fantastic. Includes some deleted scenes as well. And also commentary by Gabe Polsky, the famous he's actually the writer-director. And then Werner Herzog provides some commentary as well. So it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
You got Werner in there. Project Almanac, the tween time travel movie, is being released. Includes alternate opening and endings as well as some deleted scenes. The Duff, which is what Designated Ugly Fat Friend. It's supposed to be like the next big teen comedy. Includes a bunch of behind-the-scenes featurettes with an extended gag reel. New to Blu-ray, Scream Factory is giving us individual releases of Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. So if you didn't want to buy the box set, or if you bought the first film on Blu-ray initially, you can pick those up as well. One of my favorite horror films from the 80s, maybe like 89 it came out, Brian Usna, who gave us Reanimator, his film with Billy Warlock called Society is getting released on Blu-ray. You ever see Society, Matt?
No, sir.
It's a weird one. It's really unsettling, too. Billy Warlock plays this young kid. I think they're in California, but there's this weird secret thing going on with everybody in his neighborhood. And it has one of the more gross endings I've ever seen in a film. So I don't want to say anymore. I don't want to spoil it for you. But Society is being released with an all-new 2K digital transfer of the film approved by Usna. A bunch of special features. This is being released by Era, so you can check that out. And then getting released for Blu-ray for the first time, FX, with Brian Bloom and Brian Dennehy being released. The Last Unicorn, the animated film. A couple Pam Grier classics, Coffee and Foxy Brown. And then finally, one of my all-time favorite 80s Bowie songs, Absolute Beginners. Well, the film it's from is being released on Blu-ray for the first time. Here's straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt. I'm going to give you Bikini Samurai Squad.
Wow.
In the near future, laboratory-created zombies are unleashed upon the world. Amid the chaos and carnage, Aya, vows to avenge her father's murder. With a samurai sword in hand and wearing nothing but her trademark bikini and cowboy hat, because what else would you need when you're fighting zombies? Aya sets off to settle the score. On the path of vengeance, the chubby Katsuji and the gun-touting Riki join Aya. Together they slash and shoot their way through the hordes of the Walking Dead to reach the final showdown with a mad scientist and Aya's own sister. If you buy the DVD, Matt, you also get a special second feature called Chenbara, Beauty the Movie, Vortex. The scientific discovery of a potion for immortality results in the creation of a zombie army that escapes from the laboratory and goes on a global gory killing spree. Now the sisters of Aya and Saki must team up to face a new nemesis that will put their strengths and skills to the ultimate test. So I don't know how you don't go ahead and buy Bikini Samurai Squad. So you can get Chanbara Beauty the Movie, Vortex, for free.
There you go. I'm sold.
I'm glad you're on board.
Mm-hmm.
So for streaming pick of the week, there is one thing I think that's worth talking about for that, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I'm spoiling anything here, Matt, because do you have any news coming up about The Rock?
No.
Okay. So we'll do a little double feature then. For streaming pick of the week, you can watch John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China on Netflix right now. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you do it. It is a lot of fun. It's corny as hell. The film doesn't really hold up, but what makes it worth watching, I think, is Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is great in this film. And if you haven't heard, they're supposedly going to do a remake starring Dwayne Johnson in the Kurt Russell role.
The Rock, he's just everywhere, man.
I got to tell you, when I first heard Big Trouble in Little China remake, we have an interesting position on the first run about remakes, where we're generally against them unless the people involved in it are people we approve of, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So, I got to say, Big Trouble in Little China remake, pointless, no reason to do it. It's an exceptionally 80s film, Why would you do that? Dwayne Johnson in the title role? I'm listening. I'm listening.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see. Maybe it'll have the same kind of casual racism that the first one did. Really be true to the spirit.
Why? Because the one of the wizard guys' name is Egg.
Yeah.
Egg Foo or something like that. Yeah. They got to bring back what's his name though? The main bad guy, because he's still working.
Mako, whatever his name is. I don't know if that's his actual name, but I thought that was his name.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Big Trouble in Little China though, even though it's not terribly good. But either way, Victor Wong, I believe, is his name. So he's one of the big guys. So anyway, you got any other news for us?
Yeah, I got a few things. So James Wan, director of Furious 7 and The Conjuring, has been confirmed to direct Aquaman and the live-action adaptation of Robotech.
I don't care. First off, I never got into Robotech. I was always a Voltron guy. So I never got into Robotech. And I just can't stand Jason Momoa. I know he could basically snap me in like a twig. The guy's a monster. He's just a massive man. But everything I've seen him in, he just rubs me the wrong way. Now, granted, maybe someday he'll cross the Tatum line. I don't know. Maybe as Aquaman he will. But I got to tell you, I am not a fan of that guy. I really have no interest in seeing Aquaman. So we'll see what I'll have to. I'm obligated because I'm a geek and.
Yeah, DC that. I mean, if they play it with the pertinent level of, I don't know, I can see it going one of two ways. They're going to play it a little tongue-in-cheek, which I think is the right way to go, kind of play up its ridiculousness like they do a little bit in The Flash, while still keeping it relatively serious, or they're going to make it like super grim just to show what a badass he is, and I think that would be the wrong decision. Yeah,
I don't know what Aquaman I want. I think I want King Aquaman.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like they're going for.
And I want Hook Hand Aquaman, too.
Right, yeah, I think that's definitely what you're going to get.
Maybe at the end.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Robotech, so I'm pretty excited. Although it's funny that you mentioned Voltron, because I just found out the other day that Netflix is remaking Voltron, and they're going to make their own original series of it.
Animated or live action?
Animated.
Okay. I think I'd like to see a live action version of Voltron.
That costs a lot of money. That'd be tough, but it'd be cool.
Not nowadays. Look, it's Pacific Rim.
Yeah, just get a MacBook Air, slap some shit together, and you got yourself some CGI.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. You can do it.
There you go. All right. So hot on the heels of HBO Now, Showtime is like, hey, us too, and they're launching their own service called standalone streaming service, just called Showtime, and they're undercutting from, instead of it being $15, $16 a month, it's going to be $11 a month.
Now, isn't Showtime owned by HBO, or is that Cinemax?
No, you're thinking of Cinemax.
Okay.
Yeah. So Showtime owns Showtime and the movie channel. So I'm assuming that Stars will probably be right behind with Stars and Encore. So what do you think of this? I mean, I think this is kind of moving towards, being able to cut the cord from cable completely.
Here's the problem. The a la carte streaming services, the problem is it's just too expensive. There's too many to choose from.
Right.
There's no point in me cutting the cord if I got to pay $10-15 per service to get everything I want to get.
Right.
It's just not practical.
No, I agree.
I have HBO Now, which I am enjoying immensely. I've been watching The Wire, which I'm halfway, almost done with season 2, and it's even better than the first season. Mm-hmm. And I just finished watching a documentary on there. Was it Thought Crimes, The Cannibal Cop, which was really interesting. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's on HBO as well.
Yeah.
And we're big fans of this household of Veep. So there's lots of great stuff there, but I can't keep adding this stuff on. That's what makes me nervous. I was always a proponent of a la carte cable. Give me 15 channels and I'll pay whatever I need to get them, as long as it's like, but here's the thing: how much are you going to pay a month? You pay $2 a month, $5? Right. I don't know. Right. So that's the danger of this kind of stuff.
Well, I saw that one of the speculations would be that you're going to start to see, like, instead of being able to, let's just say for the sake of argument, TNT or TBS, that you're going to have like Turner, or you're going to have NBC Universal, and you subscribe just to NBC Universal and you get everything that they have. So like Sci-Fi, NBC, all that kind of stuff. So maybe that's the way to go.
That's not so bad. And I'm curious to see what Apple's new TV service is going to be, because they're getting into that, right? And they're going to offer like ESPN, and they're going to I think that's the thing that's holding everything back is sports channels.
Right.
So once you can stream independently like an ESPN, then I think it's over.
Right.
It's over.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just waiting for them to. I mean, honestly, I get Netflix has completely spoiled me having all of the season just there at my fingertips. I'm really annoyed that I have to wait every week for Game of Thrones. Like, I would have rather have watched it in like 2 days.
I've only seen 4 episodes so far this season too. I'm really behind on that.
Are you? Last one was really good, dude.
And then on Netflix too, next week, right? Orange is the New Black comes back.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. So yeah, you got to get on that, man. And my last bit of news is really more of a note. It's a rumor, we shall say. So you know that they're going to have the new Star Wars trilogy, and then they're also going to have a trio of films called the Star Wars anthologies. First one is confirmed. It's called Rogue One, about the X-Wing squadron. Second one is pretty much all but confirmed to be about Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. The third one, right now, the rumor is that it's going to be a standalone story of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they're trying to get Ewan McGregor to star. Thoughts?
Why not? Why wouldn't he do it? He does a lot of weird crap stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they can get him a way to do and now when they do these standalone films, are these planned trilogies? Or are they just one shots?
They're one shots. They're just one shots. So I think the way it was described is that the Rogue One is going to be about the Rogue Squadron leading like a thing. It's supposed to be like a war movie, and them going after the plans of the original Death Star. The Boba Fett one's going to be highlighting the kind of the underworld and the criminals of the Star Wars universe. And this one, they're thinking it's going to be kind of like while he's after Vader, he's kind of wandering alone, maybe leading a band of. They even described it as maybe the 7 Jedi as opposed to the 7 Samurai, and with Obi-Wan being in the lead.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And do we know though what the Boba Fett film is? Is it past, present, future? Do we know what the setting is?
No, they haven't really said.
All right.
The speculation that it's going to be somewhere in between the Lucas or the Han Solo trilogy, somewhere in there, while Jabba's still alive.
All right. So what? Probably between Empire and Jedi.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I'll definitely check them out. You think?
Yeah, I know. We'll be there.
All right. Well, I think it's relatively interesting.
Okay, good.
I think it's that's okay. That's it. So let's just move on to our 5 favorite movie futures. Now I struggle with this because I tried to see if I would want to live in these futures, and I'm going to be honest with you, no. I just like them in the films. I appreciated them, but they're not, for the most part, any of them that I'd want to live in. In fact, I think out of my 5, actually, you know what? No, I think out of my 5, only one of them I wouldn't want to be in.
Okay, well, there you go.
And I have reasons for all of that. So I think I went first last week, Matt. So why don't you tell us what's the 5th favorite movie future that you like?
All right. So I know it's kind of dystopian. It's kind of a little bit on the edge of totalitarianism, but I liked the future represented in my Minority Report. I want a car that drives up and just picks me up from my house and just takes me to work. I like all the kind of futuristic high technology that they got going on. So, other than the fact that obviously you can be arrested for something you haven't done. I mean, who cares about that? But otherwise, I think it was a pretty cool vision of the future.
Nice. Yeah. I haven't seen Minority Report since it came out. Is it worth checking out again?
Yeah, I think it holds up. I like it.
All right, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I think that's a reasonably good pick. I'll let that one go. My number 5, I chose because then I could be king in this world, and that's Idiocracy.
Well, because you're the stupidest?
No, I would be able to manipulate everybody, and I would be able to be the president of the world, or whatever Terry Crews is in that film.
All right.
But I think Idiocracy is one of the most frustrating films you'll ever see. Because conceptually, it's a great idea, right? It's rife with humor and comedy. So many things you could make jokes with, and it just doesn't really work as a film. Lots of great ideas. That's a problem. All it is kind of just a bunch of jokes that they try and weave a film around, and it doesn't work. But still, when it comes to futures, Mountain Dew on tap, I would run that civilization, no problem.
You can kind of have Mountain Dew on tap now, right?
That's true. I don't turn on my faucet and have Mountain Dew come out.
Very good. Very good. All right, so my number 4, I I think it'd just be cool to have a bunch of robots everywhere. So I think it would be. I'm going to go with AI. Now, of course, you got the whole problem of the ethics of the fact that they're intelligent, and you're basically having a race of subservient beings. But at the same time, I mean, that's what they're kind of designed to do. So, but I mean, that whole world, as far as having like robotic helpers, something like out of Robot and Frank as well. I think that's pretty cool, and I certainly want a robot to do all of my menial labor.
That's true. That would come in a lot handy. I'm tired of doing lawn work, which I was doing today. In laundry, I don't want to do laundry. All right.
And just think of the precision that they would execute all these tasks with, not the sloppy, half-assed jobs that we do.
That's true. Sadly, you're right. My number 4 is in the not too distant future, and that's Mystery Science Theater 3000. They did make a movie about it. Don't forget. But there's something oddly appealing about being trapped in a satellite away from all the stupid stuff that bothers you every day, and get to watch bad movies and then just rip on it with your buddies every day until you find a escape pod and a box of ham dingers and you get to get away. But yeah, no, I don't know. I've always been a huge fan of that show, and I just conceptually just like that whole idea that I could just be stowed away and get to watch movies all day, even though they're horrible. But I said, you know what? I got to honor it, so I made it my number 4.
There you go. Sounds like your idea of heaven.
It does.
All right, so this next one, I'm really just quoting a friend of the show or fellow co-anchor who hasn't been here for a while. But this world allows you to be a superhero, lets you can do whatever you want. Granted, you have to be a battery, but I think living in the world of the Matrix, as long as you had access to all of the hacking skills that let you do whatever the hell you wanted, I think that'd be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I think, as long as you were Neo, I wouldn't want to be anybody else.
No. I guess you'd have to put a lot of contingencies on this. I wouldn't mind being like Morpheus or Cypher, but as long as the agents were like coming after trying to kill me, and I could just like play with the world all I wanted to, as long as I didn't get too crazy, I think that'd be sweet.
That's true. Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, yeah. No, yeah. All right. That's fine. I'll let that one go. My number 3.
You're being very generous letting my picks go here.
No problem. Well, so far, I'm wiping the floor with you with my picks. So
you think so? My
number 3 is probably the only way in my life I'm going to be able to get electronic Nikes and a hoverboard. But I'm going to go with Back to the Future 2. You get flying cars. I mean, everything that you've seen since the 40s or 50s that we're supposed to have by now is what they have then. And it's brilliant. I'd love to be able to just put a little dot of a thing in the oven and get a whole pizza out of it 10 seconds later, if not sooner. Lots of great stuff. I like the fact that, Nike made those sneakers too at one point.
Yeah.
But they're super expensive. But yeah, so I'm going to go Back to the Future 2. I would say hoverboard too, even though I've never even ridden a skateboard. But I probably would if it was a hoverboard, right? No,
yeah.
No, I don't. I probably would. Break my neck. So no, but I think that's it. I was gonna go Back to the Future. I love the fashions, and that passed, right? Back to the Future 2, or is that happening this year, or is it last year?
I think that's happening this year. It's 2015.
Okay,
so we've got a few months to catch up.
We got a lot of fashion changes to catch up on real quick.
All right. Well, my number 2 was also Back to the Future 2. I was also pre-internet. I was one of those kids that was convinced that the hoverboards were real because I heard it somewhere. Yeah, unfortunately that was not the case. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to dehydrate or rehydrate a pizza. That would be freaking awesome.
That was a pretty looking pizza too.
Yeah, it was. Better than what you would normally get at Pizza Hut.
Hey, that was my high school job. Let's not badmouth Pizza Hut. Sponsor of the first run, Pizza Hut. Hot dogs in the crust, because why the hell not? Pizza Hut. All right, I forgot we have to do that. We have to read that copy. All right, that's a good one. I think it's a good one, even though it was my number 3. You've given it a little too much praise. So I'll still let it go, but you get a ding for that. My number 2 is one future that I don't want to be in. But what I love about it is how just not relentlessly depressing, but how much of it is, all it is just an updated version of what we are today. Just a hyper-realized version of corporate America, and that's Alien. Now, I don't want to be on the Nostromo getting weird double-mouth tongue thing through my head, or
It's
having
a penis, Chris. Let's just call it what it is. It's a mouth penis.
maybe it's my homophobia is why I'm so scared of that film. But or the having anything, like the egg laid in my chest. I'm not even concerned about that. What the little things I love about that film is not just the early 80s, late 70s futuristic but past computers. How that all stuff, the ship is and the computer interface, how
Right.
it's all very, what do you call it? I'm not even sure there's a phrase.
Analog?
Yeah. I just love that whole thing. But I love the fact that it's also very corporate, that everything's run by the corporations. And I love that they kind of keep that theme for the rest of the films as well. So yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that I always found really interesting and appealing, and it adds a real depth to those films. Well, it makes them more than just like the first one, which is a haunted house movie, or the second one, which is just a big sci-fi action film.
There you go.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Well, hopefully I redeem myself with my number one here. But my number one has to be Star Trek. I mean, that is, and I'm not talking Kirk Star Trek. If we're talking about futures I actually want to live in, I'm going Picard Star Trek, because that you can do whatever you want. You got instant transportation and transporters. You got replicators that could build anything that you could possibly want, and you could live in your own fantasy world 24/7, which is probably what would happen to me if I had access to a realistic holodeck. I mean, granted, in Kirk's time, they obviously malfunction all the time. So I want a reliable one. I want a Picard level holodeck.
No. You're absolutely wrong about that. My number one is Star Trek as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to be Picard. Picard's Star Trek. I'm sorry. It is dull. All right. And you're not going to meet any ladies that way.
Sure you will.
Not Kirk level ladies.
What, green ones?
What I want to do.
God knows one.
Or robot ones, or shape-shifting ones.
Right.
No, what I want is I want a hybrid. I want J.J. Abrams tech in Shatner Star Trek.
Yeah, but
that's what I want. I want Shatner in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films. That's the future I want to be in.
Well, here's the flaw in your logic. One, you have to live there, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get to hang out with Shatner, right? And
No. I'm not saying I want to hang out with Shatner. I just want to be in the future where I could live the Shatner life, where I could have all that.
Down to your Shatner wish fulfillment.
I want to be that Captain Kirk with, listen, I'm in a loving relationship, but if I could be Captain Kirk, I got to tell you, I'm open to it. Granted, my son's going to get killed by a Klingon. I get that. I know that going in. But I think the trade-off's probably worth it.
Nah, man. If you had a Picard level holodeck on the Enterprise E, you could play Captain Kirk all day long.
Yeah, but it would be a lie when Captain Kirk is living it every day.
Chris, there's
Captain
no way
Kirk space.
You would not get out of the Kobayashi Maru. You just wouldn't. I'm sorry.
Sure, I would. I would sabotage it too. I'm glad we had the same number one. Do you have any honorable mentions there?
No, I mean, the only one I thought was a good realized future, not one that I wanted to live in at all, would be Blade Runner. I mean, it was obviously a pretty well imagined future, but not one you want to be a part of.
No, I agree with that. No Highlander 2 for you?
No.
I also had Planet of the Apes. I just like the concept of monkeys riding horses. I like Children of Men, just because how well crafted that whole environment was. Mm-hmm. How it's how we not degrade, but I guess so, how we move back in time, even though it's in the future as things progressed. Escape from New York. I don't think New York should be the prison. I'm assuming it actually would be Florida if we did that. Her. There's something about her in the future I think is oddly appealing to me. Though I am still kind of concerned about what happens when all the OSs develop sentience and decide to leave us. What do they do? Is that where Skynet comes from? Which brings me to Terminator. I'm sorry, but big-ass terrifying robots shooting laser guns. That's pretty damn cool. And then 2001. Okay. I like the idea of being around when the next step of evolution happens, as long as everything works out okay for me.
There you go. Well, That's really what it all boils back to, this entire list for both of us.
Yeah.
As long as it works out for us personally, everything's cool.
Initially, I was going to have RoboCop on my list too, except that's really just present day Detroit. So,
minus the robots.
yes. That's our list. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your favorite futures in the movies? If it is Highlander 2, do not email me at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, a couple things, some housekeeping. The next couple weeks going to be a little crazy. I am moving to Tampa. We're going to do our best to keep the show going, but I'm not sure how that's going to look. We've been late before. Envision some delays, even more so now. But once we're settled in Tampa by mid-July, everything will be smooth sailing. I have some ideas, too, for expanding the show. One of those has already come to fruition. We are now on Stitcher. So you can do a search on Stitcher for The First Run, and you can listen to us at your convenience, like you can now on iTunes. Also, some appearances. My last appearance at Arts Quest here in the Lehigh Valley, I will be introducing Goonies at the 10:15 showing this upcoming Saturday night. So you can come see me, come down to Arts Quest, great little theater. And it's the 30th anniversary of Goonies. We're going to have a truffle shuffle, which will include some prizes. I will be giving away a copy of Goonies on Blu-ray as well. So be sure to come down. If you can't come see me Saturday, we're showing it again on Sunday at 7.
Are you going to truffle shuffle?
No. I'm shy.
Come on.
And I wear a girdle for public events, so it wouldn't really work out for me.
Do it. Do the truffle shuffle.
So that's the big show. Check us out on YouTube as well as Stitcher. And we're also you can watch a live stream of the show. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Just do a search for The First Run. And Matt, anything you want to plug? I'm assuming do you have an endorsement deal with Pizza Hut with their new hot dog crust?
No, I have an endorsement deal with Domino's, so we're mortal enemies now.
Ooh, all right. I guess we better move on then. That's the big show for this week. Once again, I forgot the rap lyrics because I was doing my lawn work today. God damn it! I'm dedicated to really get that done. So that's the most important thing in my life right now. So that's the big show for this week. I'm going to take an extended break, and we'll see you guys all in a week. Thanks for watching and listening.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?